Want to see something brutal? Here is the World of Warcraft Dragonflight cinematic announce trailer.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Blizzard cinematic announce trailer. That's a big thing, right? We all know that's a big thing. 2.4 million views.
2.4.
That's, like, for a WoW cinematic, that's pretty low. Now, you know the way that a WoW player would always think of ESO? Be like, ESO, not taking that fucking seriously, am I?
Who plays that?
Elder Scrolls Online High Isle launch
Scroll
cinematic.
down so we can see it.
Oh shit, they can't see it through the...
Yep.
Right, so here's World of Warcraft.
2.4.
2.4 million. Here is High Isle. 3.2 million. And it gets worse for WoW.
That was 3.1 when I looked at it earlier this week.
April 19th, 2022. June 7th. So this has had a month and a bit. This has had, like, 3 months?
Yep.
This has been out for so much longer. Yet Elder Scrolls Online is getting more views. And these things are important. They show interest. Because the YouTube algorithm serves this shit to people based on what they click on. Based on what they find engaging. That is why when I see Warcraft content creators struggling to get views in their content, it's like there's a bit in me that's like, well, good thing we have the news channel. But I see that as a click-through rate on World of Warcraft in general is down because people aren't as interested in World of Warcraft. You actually get to a time when we can get really good click rates in videos, but we literally just do not get the impressions.
People don't care about
because people don't care about World of Warcraft as much anymore. And here, like, can you imagine? I mean, I know ESO has had like a pretty good trend line, but there's ESO just thwacking Warcraft. And then for a big laugh at everyone's expense, I don't even know what a Teyvat chapter interlude teaser, A Winter Night's Lasso is.
A teaser from some story content that's coming.
So a teaser from story, so is this like a 4-minute kind of... Oh, I've got that thing where, you know, sometimes you get a bug and YouTube just plays really weird. I think it is some Genshin characters and chess, maybe.
Yep.
8.2 million views.
It's got soul.
So the reason why I say this is because that's honestly kind of spooky for World of Warcraft. For such a long time, World of Warcraft was top dog. And that's important because people want to think that they're playing the big game, like the herd effect, right? You know, it's either, okay, you want to play the little indie and, you know, you're special and you know, honestly, sometimes I'm a bit of that myself. And then you go over, for a lot of people, it's like, well, this is the big thing that everyone likes. I mean, how many people who don't give a shit about a movie like Top Gun Maverick got swayed by the reviews? Yeah. Like, I mean, two really good examples.
Me basically, yeah.
Like people like, I guess close to IRL would not give a fuck about anything to do with like a war movie or guns or, you know, just men running. So I'll have to get him to watch the latest Ghost Recon. No, the latest. Wow, that I can see the chain because there was Ghost Protocol, the Mission Impossible. The latest Mission Impossible, where just one of the big stunts is, and now Tom Cruise is going to, with his fucking aerodynamic hands, run after Henry Cavill for a bit. But like Top Gun Maverick was so good that the herd effect was enough that like that was watched by people who I think I would not have thought would have wanted to watch, you know, a movie like that. And then, of course, it really helped that Maverick is a fucking immense movie.
Exceptional.
I was kind of stunned how good that movie was. But that's important because success begets more success. That's how it goes. You know, business is, here, one of the secret, business is about creating monopoly. That's why we kind of all talk about the free market and a happy-go-lucky kind of thing. But really, the people who are in business, like, it is to create a monopoly by outcompeting the fuck out of everybody. But, you know, the people who then will come in and, you know, try to, you know, critique the free market capitalism will say that, well, it kind of will always reach this end goal. Now, I'm not making a statement, you know, either for or against that or anything like that. There's complex economic issues that I am just literally not competent enough to, you know, for it to be even responsible for me to talk about those things online. But it's just that thing, you know, especially with an MMO, especially with the network effect. People want to go to the big thing. That's why you can have a game like WildStar, but it just doesn't hit critical mass. It dies. Take Spellbreak, the game that was created by the studio who is now merged into Blizzard Entertainment to support World of Warcraft. Great game, didn't hit critical mass. So it's just that thing is really important. And you look at this with World of Warcraft, how is WoW getting less interest than ESO? I mean, I know ESO is massive. I know Elder Scrolls is a massive IP, but like, come on. Does that just not show us how much World of Warcraft lost its way?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you thought that what Kata and WoD did to the game, and Mop did as well. Mop is a funny one. I think Mop did help to make Warcraft less like the Warcraft that got mega successful, but for everyone who stuck around, it was a beautifully crafted experience. And then WoD tried to like bring the metal back to Warcraft, and then Legion, and then
Legion brought the Elven back. Yep.
Did you know, man, I remember, like, put it this way. See this this channel, very channel you're watching, it has not got the monthly views of Legion launch, since Legion launch. I remember making quick update videos about the leveling process, and they get 200,000 views. And I'm not saying this as some sort of like, oh, look at me, fucking clout. I mean this as I didn't get those views because of me. I got those views because of you. I put the video out there. And at that point, ain't got shit to do with me. It has to do with what are people interested in. So a world where a hack like me puts out a shitty leveling video like I did back then, and it gets 200 and something thousand views in barely any time, that's not a reflection of me. That's a reflection on World of Warcraft general interest and percentage of mindshare and how many impressions there are, you know, with Warcraft. When I say impressions, I mean that, and, you know, the sort of like analytics side of things. So that's why whenever you said that to me, Matt, I did get a bit of a spook. And then I look at these, like, look at the panels. Like, okay, 1.9 million for the event, 2.4 for the trailer. 88K for story, 93K for the preview, 110K for that one, 900K for the new racing class. That's good, but unfortunately, a lot of people did not like what was shown there because it was a decently weak showing. And especially, too, here's the thing, Blizzard. Like, you guys... You know, I'm fairly sure... Okay, maybe at least a year ago if you have asked Preach. And, you know, you can still ask me. I think he might be on to bigger and better things, frankly. But you can still ask us, or, you know, ask anyone in the scene. How do you get people excited about your game? Don't have a bunch of people sitting around a table where it feels fucking stilted, where you are just cutting to react shots of people nodding. Because that just ain't how it is. Like, one of the things that's important for people who are, say, videographers who do interviews is how they set up their camera, set up their lighting, do everything so that the other person feels natural. And this is just not the best way to do it. Does it look professional? Here's the thing, Blizz. You guys fell into a thing that I fell into. I used to think, oh, you need the best camera, you need the bit. No, you need gear to a certain point, and as long as it doesn't fucking look like shit, what matters is fucking heart. And this was just people being like, I agree, I'm so excited about this, I agree. And it's not a fucking thing against any of these people. No, at all. But you look at the Warcraft Arc-like Rumble thing. Now, okay, the whole chaos thing could be seen as a bit cringe. But they at least tried to come in with the fucking thunder. Because they knew, oh my god, I have to go on a YouTube video and sell people a Warcraft mobile game that looks like Crash Royale. How the fuck do I do this? So they knew they needed to bring that thunder. But with this, it's just people agreeing with each other in these 4-minute, 5-minute panels where you didn't tell people what to be excited about. You didn't show them. Actually, that's the problem. You did a lot of tell. You did a lot of people talking, a lot of people agreeing. I mean, I just remember it was the one, I think Kalinka and Jay were on it. And it was like all the things that crew, and there was other people on it too. It's just, Kalinka and Jay, they've been sort of public people in the WoW team for such a long time. I remember their names. And neither of them say a bad thing. No one says anything bad. It's just not the way to show an expansion off. It just legit isn't. And I guess maybe if you don't feel, if you don't consult other people on how to do something like this, you're always you have to make your own mistakes, I suppose. But didn't work. Didn't get people excited. You see, in the past, let me do something here. Warlords of Draenor gameplay trailer. In the past, you had, I don't know why my YouTube's being really weird. Like, it zooms through videos.
Yeah.
It's just like some audio. The way sometimes you like audio fucking clock timing shit gets really weird. But you look through this, you see the world in its narrative context in a way that actually communicates the vibe of going around all of these places, That was really strong. We had a similar thing for the Legion gameplay trailer. It's like, guys, how have you straight up forgotten how to announce an expansion and get people excited? You launch with your cool things, you launch with your vibes, and now if you're a long-term viewer of the channel, this is where we find the sound effect that was the intro, and you look at this, like, there's fucking demons everywhere, this looks awesome, we have all these beautiful shots, we have, man, level 110, that's crazy, just all the stuff, so much. Bam, 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 bam. Feature, 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 point of interest. You almost make me want to go and make one of these fucking trailers for you so that maybe I could show you how to do what you did in the past, which, by the way, I learned from you. So it's not about me. It's like, how are we in a world where they evidently have loads of cool things? Cool things to show in this expansion. But it's like, they've just not done a good job in marketing. And that online BlizzCon showing was, the more that I think about it over time, it was bad. It was bad. What? Like, it just felt so stilted and weird. You know what I mean, man? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's...
And like, evidently, the seeds that were sown there are now blooming here.
Yeah.
Where people are like, well, I tuned in for the reveal event, and it wasn't that long, didn't have that many details, you barely showed off any of the zones, because we actually collected all the cuts of the zones that they did show, and it was a very, very short duration. So they, that's how your average person's going to actually think. They're like, right, so I got to see a bunch of people that I don't know agree with each other while not telling me that much about the game and not giving me any real reasons to be excited about it.
Yep.
Like, I mean, like, as an example, I'm not happy with the Pale Beyond's marketing whatsoever. I had so much more I wanted to do. The reason why is there's just not that many of us. We don't have the resources. But fuck me. You started making this expansion, it entered production before Shadowlands. It had 2 years. One of the biggest companies in the games industry. I think it was, it was, behind Tencent. For a while, like, they were nearly, like, number 1, 2, or 3. And they can't even work this out. It's like, who is in market? Like, and then even, like, the stuff you were saying earlier, like, okay, yeah, cool. We'll just show off the Drakthir in a way that doesn't resonate with people, that anyone could have told them in advance. But in a way where they could still have got what they wanted. They could have hedged their bets in a few things. And I guess now what I'm realizing as I see the gulf between my experience playing the alpha and evidently their ability to actually communicate their marketing beats to people with this game. And, well, you just look at the difference and you're like, well, okay, that's what it is. They've lost the narrative. And it's strange because it's in a world where we get more forum posts from Blizzard. We get way more, just way more responses. They're way more proactive in things. They seem to be more open. They seem to be more communicative. All those Ian interviews we talked about, other than me and Matt still being salty old bastards about the Great Vault, almost everything Ian said was good.
Yeah.
But because they have not actually hit people where it counts, which is, that looks cool, that looks fun, I want to play that. Those are like details that don't matter because it's the core emotional experience and they fail to make that resonate. Yeah. I don't know. What's your read on this? I guess, you know what, It hit me a little bit when you showed me that Reddit post. And then I felt the Reddit post when I started looking at the performance of this reveal.
Yeah. That's how it goes. No. You need to, at some core part of your creativity.
By the way, this brings me no joy.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some part of it you really need to actually engage people as human beings. That's how you catch people, and that's how you keep them there, generally speaking. And stuff like, I guess, I mean, if you look at the really massive cultural juggernauts of today, obviously, you look at Star Wars and you kind of go, well, that's a little bit riding on hype, but that's almost falling into the same trap that World of Warcraft is of we're untouchable. We'll just do whatever we want. Oh, look, we're falling off a cliff. What do we do? You look at Marvel, at least it at least has heroic stories in the middle of it that are reasonably well told. Sure, it's a bit generic, but people still get excited. And they're still pretty okay. You look at the likes of Genshin, and they just have they have a very kind of, I guess, storytelling method that's maybe a little bit more, how do I put this? A little melodramatic in a couple ways. But at least the people who are working on that actually feel, there's some element of their creativity from the entire chain is brought through to the end result so people can see it. But I can tell you exactly, and I know exactly what the problem is. And I realized it.
Please tell them.
Yeah, I realized it as kind of thinking about the structure of Activision Blizzard and what the general problem is. It's the fact that it's Activision marketing it. It's not Blizzard. I imagine that John Haidt has some oversight because he's a general manager of Warcraft. I'm sure executive producer of the Warcraft franchise, Holly Longdale, does as well. I'm sure Ian has some input as well. Almost certainly they have to hand over assets and stuff like that. I'm sure everyone on the team has some input. But the final product will be made by Activision's marketing team because Activision took over Blizzard. And Activision are a massive, massive company. And they're a massive company run in the same way that any massive American company is, which is without even the tiniest fucking hint of a soul. So when the marketing team is there, doesn't matter what the developers could do, they could have the most soulful game in the universe. And that would, of course, result in people's interest. But if you're talking about the marketing part, no.
Yeah.
It's just Activision marketing. Did you, I don't know if anyone saw their Modern Warfare 2 marketing. And it's just, here's the character
God,
and
here's awful marketing.
Here's a drone shot of a ship going into place because you liked shipment. The first mission of Modern Warfare was on a ship. Remember that? And you're like, what the fuck is this?
What are you doing?
This is generic normie influencer shit. There's got no soul.
Yeah.
Where's the thing that people care about? Where's the emotionality? Where's the feeling of it? And I couldn't tell you at a glance what. I wouldn't be able to have a good idea for what that is. But that's kind of the thing that, it had market. Yeah, it has marketing. I suppose they haven't really been doing too good a job on that if you don't know. But I think that's the thing that when you become so analytical, it's almost this same thing that famous Steve Jobs interview is about. Was it Steve Jobs saying about the, once the product maker stop being in charge, then all you have is marketing people?
Yeah, because their marketing might be a
Yeah.
bit more rough, but they'll know what they're marketing.
Yeah, because they'll know what they're marketing, and also they'll know, they'll know what they're marketing, oh, you need to hand a bigger fact sheet to the marketers. It's about, to me, it's the feeling, right? And that's the only way I can describe it, because that's the only way because we've been trying to quantify feelings as humans, and it's never fucking worked out. That's why we have things like, that was cringe, and other people go, that wasn't cringe. Or I can't remember who it was earlier on, but someone said, what was it? It was about Warcraft Arclight Rumble and the presentation you were talking about that. And they said, that was fun cringe. Like, how the fuck do you quantify fun cringe? How is that even possible? Well, it's not. We're infinitely more complex as human beings and experiences than you can imagine. We all within us have a universe inside our brain. Effectively, there's a lot of fucking shit going on in there, people can seem simple if you boil them down, but you're boiling them down. And that's the whole thing that, like, I guess when you try to analyze and deliver stuff based on without thinking about it, without feeling, then that's what it's like. Versus, this cool. This cool. We made it cool. Please enjoy our cool thing. We think you'll like this because you're just like us.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They're kind of. I don't know how to put. I don't really want to say this, but I feel like the Blizzard development team are just out of touch with the World of Warcraft audience. There is no two ways around that. There is definitely a way to make that be less a problem, and there's a segment of the audience that a segment of the dev team are super in touch in.
Super in touch,
but
yeah.
That's why you have this like multi-track game development, where you have all of the soft and fluffy, lovely, warm-feeling Twitter like world content. That's like very, very finely tuned for that audience. You see them respond beautifully to it. You see it in Zereth Mortis. You see the actual response is really, really good. And I think Zereth Mortis, I enjoyed a lot of it. I didn't enjoy the gameplay side of it too much, but I enjoyed a lot of the feeling of it. Enjoyed a lot of that.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not a big fan for collecting stuff, so that kind of bounced off me. But I was like, okay, the vibes here are pretty well introduced, but it just wasn't. There's a little bit of it with character development, but you've got that, and then you've got, what do you call it? You've got the Mythic Plus people. You've got J.B and Mythic Raiders having fun, relatively speaking. But that's basically it. People who kind of enjoy the more varied aspects of World of Warcraft. The dev team are too hyper focused on these vibes to give you your own vibes.
Yeah.
And that's just the thing of, it is now time to either make that known or go do something else, because World of Warcraft at the end of the day will be World of Warcraft, and it's different to how it used to be, and that's fine. It doesn't have to, your taste can evolve as well, and you can still enjoy it.
Classic.
You can still enjoy it, but it's not going to be full of heart and soul. It's not going to be something that will absolutely attract you perfectly. It's no longer the game that you attach your identity to if it's changed. You can still, it's almost like a friend who's changed. You can sit down with that friend, you can talk about old times, you can talk about how you reached in now and genuinely enjoy the interaction. But you'll never be, 23 and living in the same house and, playing whatever game you two used to play together at the same time. Yeah, you'll never do. I mean, that's like fairly old. I'm even thinking like for, even people that you kind of lose touch with over a couple of years ago. Because this isn't like because I don't want to invoke that, because people are talking about it in regards to the time is money video. People are saying, well, the difference for a lot of people is they're older now. They don't have as much time. And that's why time is more important to them. And that's why the World of Warcraft models change for them. And that's why it doesn't feel the same, but it's kind of a reaction to people's growing up. But I don't think that's necessarily true, because I still have things that I really, really franchise-wise really deeply fall in love with, because the vibes are fucking immaculate for who I am. And World of Warcraft doesn't seem to hit that for a lot of people anymore. And the last time it really did was in Legion. And as more of this different development team are carrying the torch is taking on more of their individual flavor, which is just different. It's not bad. There are definitely bad elements to the execution. Like there always have been bad elements to the execution.
Yeah, it's never been perfect.
It was a very thin line that I am my scars wasn't laughed out of the building. That was an extremely fine line, but it worked. I mean, I still laugh at it, but I laugh at it. I laugh with it because, the whole Illidan was a pretty well set up character. Some of that might be nostalgic attachment to Illidan, but it's like, yeah. And like Shadowlands was hyped up because they promised more World of Warcraft. They promised World of Warcraft and big things, and then that didn't pan out. People played it and they're like, I don't vibe with this.
Yes, don't let people down.
Yep, I don't vibe with this, so I won't vibe with your next one. Overhyped and underdelivered in terms of the feeling people have.
Yeah, and like what you said about the soul is interesting. It does have soul, but it's not Samwise and Metzen's Chris. It's not Samwise DDA and or DDA, however you say his surname, and Chris Metzen. It's not their soul because they're not working on it anymore, and that's, by the way, natural.
Yeah.